Hello my friends, welcome to today's video. I'm Jeanette with Vivo Vintage Designs. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how I blow out a cone flower. I'm using a couple of colors here. I have a purple and a very light pink. I have snow cap and pitch black. I have a micro brush, some photo paper which I am using on the matte side, and my compressor is set at 40 psi. So you can see here I've put down a drop of the pitch black and I'm using an old micro brush. It's actually a dirty micro brush that I had on the side there, and I'm using it to move the ink around to create the cone of the flower. So now I'm going to dry that. And then originally I had intentions of creating a cone flower with different petals, but for some reason different color inks react differently, and the colors that I chose did not allow for me to create the type of petals that I wanted. So of course I had to change things around a little bit, and you'll see what I mean. So I put down the purple near the base of that pitch black, and then I used the pink to create a little line just underneath it. And I'm going to dry that as well. And sometimes, you know, the inks don't behave the way you want them to, so you have to acclimate and just go with the flow. And that's exactly what I did with this flower. I wanted to blow out pointy petals, but again, these colors for some reason did not want to participate. They had other intentions. You can see here as I try to blow out the petal, it's just not going the way I wanted. So I just finished drying it and I thought, okay, usually my first petal is not so great. So I'm holding the gun almost parallel to the paper to blow out a long pointy petal, but that wasn't working and I was getting all these frilly edges. So again, you can see here, it's just not going where I want it to. So I decided to embrace the frilly edges. And I'm just putting down a drop of the alcohol here. And I think this may be the point where I finally gave up on the petals that I wanted to create originally. I am stubborn, so I did try and try again. But you can see I was getting these long, spindly, frilly petals. It was not good. So now in order to keep the petals from getting too long, I'm holding the airbrush almost upright, just at a slight angle, so it stops the alcohol from moving and just dries it. So I decided to try that technique with some more petals to see if that would give me the short petals that I wanted. And yeah, that wasn't working either. And as I mentioned earlier, certain colors work really well for the techniques that I want, and then other colors just don't work. So at this point I gave up on that, and I decided to just put the alcohol down and use a technique that I use very often for some of my favorite petals, where I just go back and forth with the airbrush. I get frilly edges, I get folds in the petals, but even that was not turning out the way that I wanted. So again, I have to blame it on these colors, because it was not humid in my basement, in my studio, and I cleared the moisture from the airbrush, the little trap underneath the compressor itself. And there were no other reasons for my inks to behave this way. So you can see I'm just going back and forth. I'm embracing the frilly edges. I did add a little bit more of the purple at the base of the center of the flower. And I'm just going back, adding some more petals here and there. And at this point, to be honest with you, I was not really happy with the way this was turning out. But as usual, I don't give up on a painting. I keep going because at this point I have nothing to lose. I'm trying to soften up some of that purple that's really thick by the center there. And I'm just adding a few more petals here and there. And now that I want the frilly edges, I wasn't getting as many as I would have liked. You can see I'm trying to angle some of the petals downward. And now I'm creating a line with the alcohol so that I can move more of that ink towards the bottom of the petals. Now I'm feeling kind of happy with this. I'm liking it. So I decided to take my blending pen and to remove some of the longer petals, the tips of the longer petals, and reshape them, make them a little bit shorter so that they weren't going all the way to the end of the bottom of the paper. And that's why blending pens are so great to use. Now I'm using my snow cap to create the center of the flower. I have a clean micro brush and I'm going to start dabbing the dots on the side that I want the light to be coming from, and as I need to reload the brush, that's when I move over to the other side. Now apparently I didn't shake my snow cap well enough because it's really not showing up. It's being absorbed by the black. So you make sure that you shake your snow cap really, really well, otherwise it comes out too watery and it won't be noticeable. So while you watch me create this center, I will remind you that all the products used are listed in the description box. If you look just below the video where the title of the video is, you will see on the top right hand corner an arrow. If you click on that arrow, it will expand and show you the list and links to all the products used and some other information. Or you can click on the words "Show More," which will be on the bottom left of that box where you see the title of the video. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your interaction with my channel is really helpful. It lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the content and it makes it available to others. It becomes suggested. And it's a really, really simple and very nice way to show your support for my channel. And I really do appreciate it. So now to create this center, I'm using multiple layers. And every time I start to add dots, I start on the same side. And as I start to lose the ink on the micro brush, that's when I move to the other side. Because I want the light, the side where the light is coming from, to be brighter white. And then as you go to the shaded area, I want it to be more black, to be in shadow. So for this center, I did do multiple layers and I made sure to dry in between. And I'm not just staying within the black. I am going a little bit outside of it as well. So you can see how one side is looking whiter and the other side is looking darker. And that's the look that you want. Now to create the stem, you can use a micro brush and some green ink, but I find it so much easier to just use alcohol ink markers. So you can see that I have two different shades of green, and I'm going to use one to create the shadow and the other one to create the highlight in the stem. So this is the darker marker, and I'm just making sure that it goes nicely behind those petals. And then I'm taking the lighter marker and I'm going over the left side of the stem to create a highlight. And really what it does, it just lifts the color that I put down previously and leaves a lighter shade of green. But if you don't have different shades of green, or if you're just using alcohol ink with a micro brush, that's fine. you can go back with a blending pen and lift some of the ink off on one side of your stem to create a highlight. And that's a really nice touch. And you can see that's what I'm doing here. It wasn't light enough, so I used the blending pen to lift some of that ink off on the left-hand side. All right, we are getting close to the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you give it a try. I would love to see how you do. You can share your version of paintings and techniques learned on this channel on our Facebook group, Vivo Vintage Designs. I really do hope to see you there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.